Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Roundtable podcast that is live right now to talk about Big Brother 27. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong. This is, of course, the podcast where we talk about everything from the feeds. And with me to talk about things this week, we have Maggie Morgan. How you doing, Maggie?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Taran. Hi, Melissa. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. Can't wait to talk about, what these crazy people were doing in the house this week.
Yes. And also with us, of course, is Melissa. How you doing, Melissa?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited to talk about this week. I feel like it was kind of it seemed like it was all going in one direction, and then all of a sudden it was not. So I'm very excited to talk through what we think and whether that was a good move and all that.
Yes. All right. Well, plenty to talk about this week, but Maggie, I'm glad to have you because I've heard you're kind of embarrassed about this whole situation.
Well, there is a video that's live now on the RHAP YouTube channel that's called "Being a Big Brother Fan is Embarrassing," where the season started and I was attempting to get some friends into it, and it proved I've kind of had enough. I just am kind of enough is enough. So I'm airing my grievances, and if you want to go and check out the RHAP YouTube page, you can find it there. It's got the mastermind's face as the thumbnail with a little Ainsley in the corner. So if that gives you a taste of kind of what's going on. Jose did an amazing job with the editing, and he made me seem way funnier than I am. So definitely go check it
out. All right. Well, plenty to talk about this week as we, of course, have a new HOH, new nominations, and new mistakes have been made. Man, it really, if you listen to the update this morning, I said that I was, that's what I was saying. I was saying, what is happening? And I said that Lauren was back and forth because she won the HOH. She nominated Keanu, Kelley, and Will for eviction. Keanu won the veto, which meant that Lauren had to name a replacement nominee. She right away said, it has to be Ashley. I can't put up a person that is on my side to appease a group in the house. Instead of putting up a person that I don't have in my corner, that would be a silly thing to do. And she said that many times. She said that throughout the day when Keanu won. She said that throughout the day, the following day, for a good portion of it. However, there were many arguments made. Jimmy offered some safety. Mickey talked her through the situation. Keanu came up with a plan for how to put all the blame on him. And by the end of the day, she was saying, I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I need to sleep on it. And I came on this morning and I said, guys, I'm telling you, I think she's sticking with Ashley. That's what I think. Because here's the thing. This is how it normally works. You look at who does she actually trust? Who is her final two? Vince. What is the last thing she said to Vince? It has to be Ashley. She still hasn't circled back to Vince to talk with him like a final time. So clearly must be when she talks to Vince, it's going to be Ashley again. I just know it. I know it in my head. So, of course, as we progress through the day today, she didn't talk to Vince. She didn't talk to Vince until about 5 minutes before the ceremony, in which she informed him, yeah, I don't think I can do Ashley, man. And Vince was like, what? So it is, in fact, Adrian that has found himself on the block today. And it will be Adrian, Kelley, and Will that face off in the blockbuster competition, Melissa.
Yeah, very surprising, honestly. I'm good for Ashley. That's great. I'm very surprised. But that's, it's wild. Do we think that she has like an actual target though? Like, I mean,
I think her target... I think her target was to not be the target next week.
That's what it feels like. It's like, as long as people aren't as, like, she just doesn't want to piss people off. but she doesn't actually have a person in mind that she wants to get out.
She would, so she, you would think that given her nomination, right? Prefer Will to leave at this point.
Huh.
But here's the thing, right? In my mind, here's how. Okay, let's just break this down. Adrian is now on the block. Adrian and Kelley are both on the side that wants to keep the two of them in the game to go after Ashley, Mickey, Morgan, Rachel. Will is on the side of Ashley, Mickey, Morgan, Rachel. And so that side would prefer for Will to leave and to keep Adrian and Kelley around. But they only have 6 votes to do so. But they do have those 6 votes. It would be Vince, Zach, Katherine, Rylie, Keanu, and whichever of Kelley or Adrian come off the block. 6 votes of 12. So Lauren could break the tie against Adrian. Maggie's already laughing. Adrian or Kelley. But the way I'm seeing it now is if Lauren didn't want to draw a line in the sand by putting Ashley on the block and taking Ashley out of the game, why in the world would she do it to evict Will? It doesn't make any sense. You piss off the same people you would have pissed off by taking Ashley out of the game, only instead of taking an actual competition threat that's like that you don't get along with, you'd take out Will? That's who you're drawing the line in the sand for? Is that really going to happen? Is Vince, is Zach, are they going to be on a 6-6 vote with Lauren breaking a tie? I don't know, man. That seems far-fetched to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially considering that puts her in like a much worse position, like a much more out there position, is to be the one breaking the tie and really demonstrating, okay, yeah, I'm picking a side. I'm putting my foot down. And, you know, if she wanted to avoid all the smoke or whatever, then this is like the worst thing that she could be doing. I'm just so surprised, honestly. And I feel like I was so naive. I thought that she was going to be like a good strategic player. I thought that she was quiet, but she was, you know, she knew the game, had her head in the game, and it was going to be like an impressive run, you know, but I just feel like she's too timid. She's playing too scared. And that just ends up being worse for you in the long run.
I just want to say, first off, I would like to see her get up there and have to break a tie. I think that would be fun. I think that would make for a really fun episode. My friend sent me the meme where it was like, I accidentally became important at work and now it's ruining my life. And that's Lauren's HOH.
That's literally it.
But also, like, Melissa, this is the thing. I don't think you were wrong to see Lauren's game instincts. Like, she does have good game instincts. Like Taran was saying, her instinct was to create the sides in the house, to, you know, go after the other side, to put Ashley up. However, she just didn't execute. And I do think that it was her own failure, but also a huge failure of the people around her to help aid in that. Like, I feel like this is not just a failure of her HOH. This is a failure of the alliance that was trying to form around her. Like, this is Vince's failure, in my opinion. Even
like 5 minutes before the ceremony, she was begging Zach and Vince, just tell me what to do. And they wouldn't. It was very clear what they wanted in that moment. It was the most they had ever pushed, but they wouldn't just say, you need to do this. They would just say, well, maybe it might just, it kind of feels better a little bit if we go this way. But at that point, she was like, well, now I feel like I'd be blindsiding Ashley because I kind of told her she's good. And they needed to be like, then you need to do that because this needs to happen. They did not, they couldn't find it in themselves. And it was only because they left her alone for so long. Vince was so terrified of looking like he influenced this HOH that he refused to actually do it. And what that has left him with is Adrian and Kelley on the block instead of any of his potential enemies. And in the process has turned Adrian into one of his potential enemies.
All I gotta say is wait for Vince to be rated here. I got some smoke. I'm ready.
All right.
Oh boy, it's been quite a wild ride. And so there are a few reasons that we suspect Lauren, because I would count this as Lauren having changed her mind, because Lauren won this HOH and Ashley was like number 2 on her list of people to nominate. It was Keanu number 1, Ashley number 2, and Will number 3. Kelley snuck her way in there and supplanted supplanted Ashley's spot, and then she backed out of the Ashley nomination with Will. She went with Will instead. So then, of course, when it came to her replacement nominee, she was like, well, now it has to be Ashley, and she fully was on board with this idea of nominating Ashley. And so Ashley campaigned the hell out of the situation. She spends so much time.
Can I just say, Ashley's inability, or maybe she does have the ability, but just doesn't care about reading the room, really paid off here. Wow. 10 out of 10. Keeping yourself off the block, being like, I don't care how horrible or awkward this conversation is, I'm in it. Like, her lack of being able to recognize, from what we've seen the rest of the season, when somebody is really uncomfortable in a conversation, really paid off here. 10 out of 10. Good job, Ashley.
It's wild. It was another thing where it's like, I was watching Ashley talk to Lauren, and I was like, this never works. This can't work, but it did.
And yet it did.
I want to reiterate here. I've genuinely never seen a campaign like this work, and I've never seen somebody change their mind and basically decide against doing a thing as the HOH without even consulting their final 2 partner. Like, she fully changed her mind and informed the person she is loyal to as a final 2 what she was doing minutes before she did it. And I can't even say that it's entirely like on her, because the reason why she didn't consult Vince is because he doesn't give her anything when she tries. This is a very strange situation, in my opinion. And so Ashley's campaign, it just worked. She just tried harder, and Adrian was like, I'm trying to give you space, because I don't want to be pushing too hard. And she's like, I really appreciate that, Adrian. I really do. I want you to know that I fully see that you did that, and I appreciate it. However, you're going on the block.
It's like, okay, as a person, I appreciate that, but it doesn't matter. You're going up. It's just, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where, like, Ashley put in the work to stay and made her feel like it would be more uncomfortable to nominate her than it would be to not nominate her. Like, it's like, I just feel like, as uncomfortable as it would be to have her like in the house and potentially an enemy and like, it would be more uncomfortable to nominate her and have that like blowback. So, I mean,
I also
good for Ashley.
I also think that like Lauren has been dealing with allies who are not telling her what to do at all. So then people like Jimmy coming in and just like telling her what to do, people like Ashley coming in and telling her what to do, like, that had to be a little refreshing. She was like begging for people to tell her what to do. She was probably like, thank you. Finally, somebody's telling me what to do. Even if it's the people she doesn't necessarily want to work with. She was probably just like, oh, thank God. They're not going to be mad at me. Like, nobody's going to be mad at me because they're telling me what to do. And like, it's all going to be okay.
Yeah. And like, the thing is that like it is a scary move to draw lines in the sand like that. And you really want to make sure that you have people backing you up. And if those people aren't willing to like step out on a branch and just be like, hey, yeah, this is the right thing to do, you should do it. If they're unwilling to say those words when you are begging them to say it, then maybe you do rightly feel a little hesitant to put your entire life on the line with them being your support.
I feel like everyone's playing scared. Like, that's why it's like they're too afraid to tell her that that's what she should do, or they're too afraid to like be strong in their conviction of like, this is the right move. And instead they want to like hem and haw and be like, oh, well, ultimately it's up to you because it's your HOH. And just so that they don't end up getting the blame for it. And then it ends up being that nobody's willing to say anything. Nobody's willing to put themselves out there.
There's not like a leader on that side other than
Well,
like Keanu.
That's the problem. The leader is Keanu. Keanu is the only
Exactly.
one beating the drum saying, hey,
know.
rah, rah, we're a side. I'll protect you. Have you ever played sports before? Have you ever been on a team before? Here's how a team works. We'll have your back. And this is the second part of why she seems to have backed out of the decision, because Keanu comes up with this plan of, I will take the credit for this. I will take the heat for it. I will act like I made a deal with you. And she tells Vince and Zach later on, she's like, I don't want to be associated with Keanu. I don't want people to lump me in with like Keanu and Kelley. And they're like, well, I thought it was good that you'd let them take the heat. She's like, but I don't want to be with them. And Keanu, and they're like, oh, stupid Keanu. He's always trying to help, but he makes things worse. And it's like, yeah, I mean, this is the bed she's trying to lie in. Like, this is a mess.
Also though, like, I'm putting myself in. I actually think, Taran, you saying like, I understand why Lauren is hesitant, because she's like, we should make this aggressive move. And everybody's kind of like, well, I don't know. So yeah, I actually, when you phrase it that way, I have like a little bit more empathy for her. And I think that's why I'm so mad at Vince, because this whole thing happens. She comes to you and she's like, Keanu wants to do this. I don't want to be associated with Keanu. It's a perfect moment for you to be like, yeah, but like, we're not actually gonna, like, we can control him. Look at, he listens to anything I say. Like, he's a perfect ally for us. Everybody hates him. He'll be gone before us. This is the perfect shield situation for us. We only have to tell him, you know, like what we want to tell him. And just the fact that nobody is recognizing the positioning that they're in or what they can do. It's very, very frustrating. And when I tell you, I opened up, you uploaded, Taran, your stream from post-nominations, and it said like post-nomination fallout. And I was like, ooh, there's some drama with Ashley after she got nominated. And I opened it up and you were like, and Adrian's on the block. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, how did this happen? How did they allow for this to happen?
Yeah. I think credit must also go to I mean, they all pushed. It was a group effort. They coordinated, they pushed, and the other side just kind of allowed it to happen. But Mickey was really up there, making very good progress. Very sort of blunt as Mickey is, but she like actually talked it through with Lauren and got in there and just made it happen. You know, Jimmy gets in there offering the deal of safety. Rachel goes in there and says, I'm not coming for you. And she gives Ashley the advice of like, you know, I'm not coming for you, girl. And it just all came together and worked. And, you know, it's tough because it wasn't just like from the mind of one person. Otherwise we'd be like, what an amazing play by this person. But it's all of them. They all coordinated together and made this happen. And it's a phenomenal move. They are in a much better position because because Ashley didn't go up on the block.
It's also then adds to my frustration of like, these people are working so well together and they're not even in an official alliance.
Well, that was the thing too, is that I do feel like, you know, Adrian makes this final plea and he's talking sense too. He's saying like, this is like, you are appeasing that side of the house. You are taking out one of the targets in front of you. You are going to be powerless in this game, so on and so forth. Like, and not saying it in those words, but like saying it pretty correctly. But another thing he's saying is the I hate liars stuff. Why would you want to work with liars? They're not even, they're liars. They're not good to play with. They're even fighting amongst themselves. Like Mickey's already talking about Morgan. Like they already are like not trusting each other. So why would you want to be in that group? And from my perspective, and not to say that this is what Lauren thought, I was like, oh, so they're not a solidified unit? Okay, I guess I don't need because it's cracks that can be utilized. They're not locked in together. That means that they will infight eventually, if what you're telling me is true. Yeah.
Karen, you are kind of glitching.
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the video.
I
There
think
is
it's
a bit.
it's the connection. I think
Got
is a bit good. But please take over until it comes back.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's like I was very shocked by this move, and I know everyone else was as well, but I feel like I don't know where Lauren goes from here. I just feel like she should have been using this HOH to set herself up for the future, to like solidify something, and instead I feel like she's in a worse position than when she went in.
I just can't imagine being like, I want to do this move where I go after, another half of the house and we declare war. Let's get all the people I want to work with in a room so that we can talk about this and solidify an alliance. Like when you flip the house like this, you form an alliance. This was the best night of Big Brother feeds that I've ever experienced. The leftovers night when
that was
Joseph
great.
was making those fajitas and they were all we were all waiting for Taylor to come in, and you know what I mean? And because they needed to solidify and get everybody in a room to be like, okay, we're going to do this. That's how you team build. That's how you bond. And the fact that, the person in charge was unwilling to do that, and then their right hand was even more unwilling to do that, it just all fell apart. It really did.
Yeah, if you're going to declare sides, you need to have a side. You need to make sure you're on a side. So that way, like afterwards, it's not, you're not just lost.
All right. Should we get into the survey?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to know, what are your predictions here? Who is at the top of the favorite list this week? Who has crowned themselves the most favoritist player of the week?
What a title. I think it's probably Ava. I think
Rachel still.
Rachel didn't have it last week, so we were wrong. So
Ava actually overtook Rachel last week, and she has gained on that lead this week. She is even further out in front.
Figured. And
Loving
then
her.
Maybe Rachel or maybe Mickey?
I would say Mickey.
It is Rachel in second place still.
Then Mickey?
Followed by Mickey. Yes.
Okay.
There you go. That's why you're the voice of the people, Melissa. That's why you're the
I
voice
just
of the
could
people.
sense it.
Who's at the bottom?
Kelley.
Yeah, maybe Kelley or Keanu. No, wait, maybe Rylie. Still.
Oh yeah, Rylie had a really bad week.
People just haven't gotten over it. Rylie.
For the third straight week, Rylie is at the bottom of the list. This is the lowest he's ever been, actually. He is far below everyone else now.
Yeah,
well,
Taran had to.
Anything, so.
Also, Taran had to report on him saying, like, thank goodness somebody else is in here to get some. Or whatever version of that was. So,
who is right above Rylie, second to last?
Probably Keanu.
I think Kelley.
Kelley has fallen below Keanu this week. Yeah.
Imagine Keanu just keeps rising and then he's at the top next week.
He started in like fifth to last. Then last week he was second to last. This week now back up to third to last.
So going back, getting back up there.
All right. One more prediction. Who do you think made fourth place? I'll give you a hint. It's the same person as last week and the first week.
Will?
It's not Will.
Is it Morgan?
It is Morgan. Fourth place every single week so far.
Wow.
Really? That's surprising to me.
Oh, sorry. No, that's I was looking at the wrong week. She was second place actually first week. She was just fourth place last week. I think I clicked on the last week's tab twice in a row.
And you're like, wow, shocking.
All right. So the list is Ava, Rachel, Mickey, Morgan. Pretty clear top four. Followed by Jimmy, Will, Adrian, Ashley, Zach, all fairly grouped up. Then Lauren, Vince, Katherine, Keanu, Kelley, Rylie.
I think people are a little hard on Katherine. I think she's guilty by association. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe also that goodbye message, maybe where it was like, I mean, that I didn't love that goodbye message where she's like, oh, I don't want to be in the bottom of a women's alliance, so I'm going to get out all the women or something. It was like, okay, feminist. I don't know if I believe that.
Well, I think it's also kind of just like, who are you putting Katherine above? Be like, what is she doing to make you put her above other people? Like, she's just not very present.
I'm not saying like game wise. I'm talking like I don't know. I think that
Yeah, just mean like I think that like Katherine at best is probably just your baseline because she's just not really present in the show.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I think that maybe I've softened on her a little bit because I know that she would have never let this HOH week happen the way it went down if she was HOH. She would have put Ashley up.
She barely did anything. She didn't even talk to Lauren pre-noms. She talked to Lauren once pre-noms and was like, "Oh, I don't think I've even talked to you yet."
Also, like, I'm confused by the Katherine Lauren thing because, like, I thought that they had like a segment about how close they were and stuff, and then anytime someone brought up Katherine to Lauren, she was like, "Well, like, I don't know about her. Like, I don't know if we're like whatever," and they'd be like, "Well, you're not going to put her up, are you?" And she's like, "Oh no, I'm not going to put her up." But it's like, the fact that it was sounding like she might put her up, like, are they really just like not vibing anymore? Or like, I mean, because like I haven't been watching the two of them on feed.
It's
so
very much people are likening it to like a Mackenzie Leah kind of situation.
Where they like are semi-friends.
They're friends, but also I don't like her that much. Don't lump us together.
And they keep saying like, well, we don't like connect on a game level. It's like, what do you mean? Like, how do you like? I could understand being like, I don't connect on a personal level, but like game is game. Like, what do you mean you don't connect on a game level?
The chat is really schooling me on my take on people being hard on Katherine. So I guess I'll have to re-evaluate that.
All right. I asked the audience to rate the episodes this week. In the first week, they were 7.3. In the second week, they were 6.3. In this third week, a 4.9.
Ooh.
Just below a 5, which should be average, but definitely continuing to fall.
Not good.
Just frustrating.
Yes.
You know?
Now, we can compare this to Big Brother 26, which in the third week, the episodes were 6.1. Big Brother 25, the episodes were a 4.6 in week 3, so even lower. And then Big Brother 24, a 5.2. So it sounds like week 3, not always great episodes.
Slow.
Yeah.
Slow week. I mean, this is kind of a slow week. It's like,
it's a slow week, but there's been intrigue. I don't know. Today was like very shocking to see that she didn't go with Ashley as the renom. I feel like there's at least content. I
feared that Wednesday's episode would be awful. I think that now it could be good, but we'll see. I also had the audience rate the feeds this week. Week 1 was a 7.5. Week 2 a 6.9. Week 3 a 5.6. So yes, also continuing to fall. This is
I think if there was like a plan this week, like I think if there was like a plan, like whether it's Ashley and those girls trying to like convince Lauren of something like intentionally and being like, okay, here's what we're gonna do and blah blah blah, and then Lauren gets convinced, or like everyone's fighting for like to convince Lauren one way or the other. Instead, it's just kind of like everyone kind of hanging back and being like, well, we don't want to like rock the boat too much. Like maybe I'll have a conversation with her. Maybe you'll have a conversation, but like, we're not going to like really push for much. And then Lauren just like making a last minute change in her decision, which like, I guess that part is dramatic, but it would be much more dramatic and exciting to like see it all go down and see all these like intentional like machinations of people like trying to convince her of something. I don't know. It just feels a little like it feels a little stale.
It's kind of like I feel like the occasional like parody movie that has like there's like a death trap, there's like a laser coming at somebody and they're strapped to a table and the laser's gonna like chop their head off or whatever. And then in the parody, it's like, oh no, but then it's like really, really slow.
Like Austin Powers with the cement wheel thing where the guy's like,
yeah.
Ah! RHAP, and then they just keep yelling and going like this, and it's going like very slow.
Exactly. The feeds have been that where like Zach and Vince are standing at the button to stop it, and we're just slowly watching it crawl toward Lauren over the course of like 2 days as she goes, guys, should we stop it? I don't know. I'm kind of torn. And they're like, maybe it feels like we should stop it, Lauren. I feel like we should press the button. Maybe I don't know. Well, it's your choice. We don't want to push you. They're kind of telling me that I shouldn't, though. And they're like, okay, I guess. It's just been for a long time. So yeah, maybe it wasn't the most fun to watch.
Lauren's 21, right?
22, I believe.
Okay, yeah, she's very young. I feel like that, like we see that a lot on Big Brother and also on Survivor. Like when the players are really young, they're not as sure of themselves and their opinions and what they should do. Like I remember watching BB20 and everybody being like, if Haley played like 5 years later, she would have been really, really one to watch out for. And that's the thing, like Lauren's instincts are there. Like she knew what she should be doing. It was just, I think that she's just a little young and was looking for some support, and the people she was looking to for support were not going to give it to her.
Yeah. Well, comparatively, Big Brother 26, the feeds were 7.9 this week, so much, much better. BB25, the feeds were an 8.1 this week, so even better. Big Brother 24, the feeds were a 9.0.
Wait, are you able to say who's the HOH each week so we know? Like, I don't remember these weeks. What happened?
This must have. I think this
that was
the leftovers forming. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was because Joseph's
sure it would
birthday.
Get there in time, but yeah,
it was just Joseph's birthday. So,
leftovers was this early.
Yes.
What?
Yeah. It felt like longer, right?
Mind,
like
in
longer
my mind,
that we
it
suffered.
happened like near the end of the season or something.
You have to also consider the fact that we started the feeds almost a week in.
Okay, yeah. So it's like everything. Yeah, okay. But still, I feel like it was like, I thought leftovers was like, I thought we watched Taylor suffer for so long. Like for so long. And then the leftovers like came in and it was like, hooray. But apparently that was like, we only watched 2 weeks of suffering. It felt like a lifetime.
Well, a big departure, obviously, the 5.6 for the feeds this week. Definitely the worst week 3 we've had in a few years. Rating the season as a whole so far, the audience initially gave the season a 7.4, then a 7.1, now down to a 6.2. So this season's in free fall right now. Now, to be fair, season 24 did have a 6.4 at this point. It had only just hit the leftovers. Season 25 was at a 7.7. Season 26 at a 7.1. So still, it's like in the range. It's not completely fallen out in that rating. I did though ask to rate Lauren's HOH reign. Vince's was a 2.7. Jimmy's was a 3.6. Cedric's this week was a 5.5 in BB26. Felicia's.
He went home the next week, right?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
Felicia's was a 6.9. And we didn't do it for season 24. Lauren has the lowest rating of all of them.
What?
A 2.5.
I mean, I don't think it's that bad.
Me either.
Like, I don't think she'll be going home next week.
I think I still maintain that Vince's HOH is worse.
Yeah.
The outcome was not necessarily worse because Kelley won that blockbuster. If Kelley had not won that blockbuster, whole different story potentially. But in terms of decision making, I think it's worse. Lauren's HOH certainly not good, certainly bad. But I don't know if it's like a 2.5. I think that like she was hurt pretty dramatically by this coming directly after her renom decision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, honestly, it's like, okay, is this her best move? No. Do I think that this is like, oh, this is the stupidest move and you're going to go home next week? Like, no, I don't think that. So I really don't see it being that. I mean, with Vince, we were like, yeah, he literally nominated his like closest ally at that point. That's a horrible idea. It's way worse than this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I did ask, did Lauren choose the correct replacement nominee? And this is where things get a little strange because for Vince, 92% said no. For Jimmy, 89% said no. For Lauren, only 81% said no. So still pretty overwhelmingly no, but more people agreed with Lauren's replacement nominee than either of the previous two HOHs, despite rating her as a worse HOH.
I think it's because Lauren, like the rest of her HOH, is sandwiched around her seeming completely non-threatening because she seemingly has no agency to the rest of the house, versus like Jimmy, his replacement nominee, made his direct allies really mad at him. And Vince, who was Vince's replacement?
Kelley.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So there you go. That was his closest ally. So like, yeah, I would agree that out of the three, like this isn't good, but it's not turning your closest allies against you or putting your closest ally on the block.
Yeah. Finally, I asked, who do you want to be evicted this week between Kelley, Adrian, and Will? 63% said Kelley. 20% said Adrian, 16% said Will.
I don't want Adrian to go. I don't. We'll talk about him more when we get there, but I would like to see Adrian continue to stay and fight.
Yeah, I feel like Adrian could do something. And so I like would be interested to see him stay.
This means a lot to him.
Yeah.
Like it means so much to him. And Kelley is like bragging about how she doesn't know the game.
And Kelley is like, oh, I just think like she wants to be like Tucker or whatever. And so like every week she's like, I guess I'm gonna have to make a crazy move and volunteer myself for the block. You know, it's like, okay, that's not crazy. Like you've done it like twice already, 3 times now. It's like we don't need that anymore. Thank you. We've seen enough. Like that's not crazy because you keep doing it. Like it's just stupid. So I just think that like for me, I'm over Kelley's whole spiel. I don't really see. I mean, like my thing would be like, if I had faith in her ability as a player, I'd be like, maybe it'd be kind of interesting to like see what she can cook up, even though people are against her, because I kind of like that. I kind of like same with the Keanu thing. It's like I kind of like the fact that people are against him and they don't like him, and it kind of makes me want him to stay so that we can kind of get some drama, see what happens. He can fight against the rest of the house, like to make his way to the end. Stuff like that is interesting to me. And if Kelley could do the same because the rest of the house doesn't really like her that much or whatever, like I would be interested in seeing that. But I just feel like if she keeps volunteering to be a pawn every week, it's like, that's not fun. That's not exciting. That's just boring. And it's like, I don't care. Oh, she wins the blockbuster. Yay. I don't care about that. So like that doesn't interest me.
I also think like with Kelley, if I'm being honest, she reminds me of like we're on a Roundtable podcast that's going to go for 3 hours talking about Big Brother. Like we love Big Brother so much. And like she gives the energy of the type of person where like, say you're at a football game and the person next to you is like, I love football. I know everything about football. And they start talking about football and it's very obvious to you that they know nothing about football. And in fact, what they're saying is like pretty disrespectful to the people who know like what's going on in football. Like they're talking with this huge inflated sense of self. Like that's how I feel when I watch Kelley, when she's like, just learn the game. I'm an instigator. And I'm like, girl, like you're volunteering for the block. Like Taran said, you snuck your way in there. Like I'm like, how dare you? Adrian built a wall comp in his backyard and you're basically begging to go on the block every week and go home. And I just like honestly find it really lame. Like just really lame.
It's like one of those things. It's like maybe she knows that like when someone keeps getting put on the block and is like the whole house is against them and like they might be the target and then they keep saving themselves every week. It's like that is like a fun like story where it's like, yeah, go get them. Like, we're rooting for the underdog, but you're not the underdog if you keep putting yourself in that position on purpose to then be the underdog. It's not.
I don't
anything.
even know, Melissa, if she like knows the meta enough to know that. I think she's just like bored and wants to do so. Like, I just think that she like legitimately doesn't know what's going on. So she's like, I'll just do this. But it's like speaking as though she knows what's going on and being really
'Cause
insulting
that's
to
what
Rachel,
Tucker
who's
did.
won,
It's
who's
the
won
Tucker
the
thing.
show. Like, it's just really, really frustrating
It's
to
like
me
we knew this
personally.
was gonna happen with the Tucker thing, where it's like people saw Tucker and they were like, the people like that. I like that. Whatever he's doing, I like that. But it's like,
Who needs to listen to Rachel when I can follow in the footsteps of the great Tucker?
yeah. And
But it's
I just, to me, like, there has to, I feel like Tucker always had like reasoning behind the wild things he was doing for the most part.
okay, Melissa. I don't know about
Okay,
that.
I'm just saying, like, for some of it, I was kind of like, okay, this is just like showmanship and whatever. I'm kind of
About
like over it.
80% of that reasoning was I hate Quinn.
Well, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's like there's only a very specific personality that can be like that. It's like the same thing with the Keanu trying to do the Dr. Will thing. It's like he doesn't have the charm of Dr. Will. Like Dr. Will can do the Dr. Will thing because that's his, the charm carries him. It's like the people like grin and think that his little like spiel is funny. And when he says I hate you all or whatever, they think it's funny and they're like, oh well, whatever. But Keanu says I hate you all or I'm targeting you all or whatever, and people are like, ugh, this guy says he's targeting me. That's like not a nice thing to say. It's a totally different vibe. And you have like, I'm not saying I could be that instigator person. Like I could not, but I also wouldn't try because I know that it wouldn't land.
I have a controversial take. I think if Keanu sticks around for another week or two, we could be seeing some Keanu heads out there.
There's already Kel heads. That's what I was saying about Kelley.
Look, I don't feel that way about Kelley, but I feel like Keanu
Kelley's more likely to gain fans than Keanu, I think.
I don't know. I think Keanu has big. Devin has a daughter, infamy upside.
That's if he leaves.
Maybe.
I think a Keanu that sticks around too long lives to see himself stay the villain.
Okay.
A Keanu that leaves and then the season gets theoretically more boring. We go, the days of Keanu.
Okay.
But listen, this happens all the time. There's certainly Keanu could certainly rise to prominence. All you have to do is learn to hate the other people more. That is often what happens in Big Brother.
Yeah, I at least like. No, you know what? Moving on. We'll move on from this.
All right. Are we ready to rate the players?
Yes.
All right. This is, of course, the portion of the podcast where we rate the players from 1 to 10 based on how well we think they are doing in the game. We have lost Amy and Zay, and now we will run through the cast list here one by one, giving them ratings. Those ratings will then influence the price on the Stockwatch market over at realitystockwatch.com, where you can play along, buy and sell shares of these players. So let's start with our guy, Adrian, who just found himself on the block. It's not looking great for Adrian. Last week we said he is looking okay. That he should stay above Amy, that he wouldn't necessarily stay over Will, but that he's at least staying in one of those scenarios. It seems like the same thing might be true this week. Against Will, he is not super likely to stay. Against Kelley, he is in a decent spot to stay. And the only downside, though, is theoretically he has a little bit of a smaller chance to win the blockbuster against Kelley than he did against, say, Amy as the replacement for Amy on the block this week. So that's not great. He tried to muster up some campaigning here, but honestly, the thing is, he's just a bit rigid in the game. I think he is locked in with Kelley and Keanu, despite the fact that he doesn't actually want to work with Keanu. He's telling Zach way too much information that Zach has already now passed on to Morgan about Adrian. This could be very, very bad for Adrian if Mickey finds out that Adrian leaked her information, you could theoretically see a world where she decides she'd prefer Adrian out this week. I don't know if she has the pull to make that happen this week, but it certainly could be not great for him. And he's just so locked into his current position, and his current position is bad. And it's made much worse by the fact that Ashley did not go up on the block and he did instead. So I'm going to have to go a bit lower than the 3 this week. I think he has not played very well. I'm going to give him a 2. Next up is Melissa, who can't talk.
Should I go then?
So Maggie should go.
Okay, so this stinks. I feel for Adrian. He should not have been in this position, like, truthfully, because like we talked about, Lauren wanted to put Ashley up pretty much immediately. And he should have been, 5th choice, and instead he was 4th. But I agree with you, Taran. He was pushing really hard to stay off the block, but his campaign was not great. And I do think, I think I have to go with the 2 as well, because I do think it's really likely he leaves this week, which will be a shame. I don't want him to, and I'm rooting for him to turn it around. I really am.
All right. Not sure if Melissa is ready.
Yeah, it should be. Hopefully, I say that now. I want to give him a 2 as well. I'll just go fast. He has a really good chance of going home this week. He did not keep himself off the block. I mean, I have a feeling now at this point, like, he'll be an easy nomination, even if he stays, because it's like, well, he's already been up there. I mean, we've seen week by week, people keep putting up the same people. It's just an easier move, quote unquote. So I could see that happening with him. So it's a 2 for me.
All right. Well, the audience did give him a 3, a little bit higher on Adrian than us here, but still not looking great. It is also Melissa's go for Ashley here as well. How are you feeling about Ashley having avoided the block?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm very impressed. I don't know if it was all really her doing, but the fact that she made her feel like, or made Lauren feel like she would be too afraid to put her up and that it would be a bad move. And the fact that she had other people kind of putting that out there of like, don't put Ashley up. I feel like that's really good for her. I still don't know if I feel good about Ashley moving forward, but I want to give her credit for this. So for me, you know what? I'm going to give her a 5. What the heck?
Wow, a 5.
I really thought that I was going to be higher on her, but no, I also agree with the 5. I really want to reward her for this. Again, I do think that there were more factors than just her, but she games hard. She's here to play, whatever that means. Ashley's never going to shy away from a conversation, especially a slightly controversial one. I think that honestly, her positioning, because she avoided this week, is better going into next week. If people, like Vince, Keanu, well, maybe not Keanu since he's off Rachel, but a lot of people now are looking more at Morgan and Mickey and Jimmy over her. And if we're not going to be playing as scared moving forward, I don't know that she will be on the tip of everybody's tongue. Maybe Taran will say that I'm wrong when he goes, but I do really want to reward her for this, because if she had been on the block, I do think that there's a huge possibility that she could have gone home this week.
Yeah. Well, the audience is a bit lower on Ashley than the 2 of you. The audience gave Ashley a 4. But I agree. I gave Ashley a 5 as well. I feel like she's not out of the woods yet. I mean,
No.
She survived. She avoided nomination by the skin of her teeth this week. She is still trusting people like Zach way too much. And she is definitely still a target for many of the people in the house. However, her side of the house and that side of the house just had a bit of a battle, and her side won. And that is very, very good for her. She has a long way to go before I can see her becoming a bit of a jury threat in any serious way. But this is a good week for her, and she is theoretically on the rebound, but we'll see. We'll see how far that goes. So yes, indeed.
Wow, a 5
for Ashley. Maggie, how do you feel about Ava?
I feel so great about Ava. I'm so proud of her. I'm so excited about the way that she's playing. You talked with Mari this morning on the update about her connecting with Rachel, and I do feel like this is huge for her. She's somebody who I was actually explaining this to one of my friends who's newer to Big Brother. We went to a watch party this past week. If you're in New York, have not room. They at Crystal Lake. It was really, really cute. It was really fun. Everybody had a great time. The guy who hosts it did a great job. And we were talking about her, and I was saying, like, she has really good game instincts, and she kind of reminds me of like somebody who's not as new, doesn't know as much about the game, kind of like a John Party, who needs somebody to kind of like shepherd her into the like really strategic mind of it. And I feel like her buddying up with Rachel is going to really give her the opportunity to do that. She's great socially. She has a mind for it. She's so fun to watch. She's a great like character. I understand why the people in the house really like her, because I really like her. Her positioning is fantastic this week. As Taran was saying, when he thought that there was going to be a big war, like she was kind of going to be the one riding the middle there. Everybody kind of thinks that they have her and they can get her to vote with them. And if she was a little more active, I would go even higher than this, but I'm going to go with an 8.
All right. Well, an 8 for Ava from Maggie. The audience slightly lower at a 7. But I agree with the 8 here. I think this was a phenomenal week for Ava. My hesitation on her last week was that her positioning was decent, but not strategically very sound. She was a bit too committed to the bond, which seemed like a doomed alliance, and she hadn't been very active strategically. Many of those things have changed this week. Strategically, her position is much better. She is in perhaps one of the best positions in the game. On top of that, she is locked in to some degree with Rachel, who I think, as I've mentioned before, is the most strategically sound player in the game. Who knew I would be saying that 15 years ago? And so the two of them combined could genuinely be very effective. And already you are seeing that Rachel has turned Ava onto the "you should be suspicious of Vince" line of reasoning, which is a far cry from where she was even just a week ago. She trusted Vince. She liked Vince a lot. They had their own kind of almost final two going for a second there. And so this is a very good combo for her. She's also tightly linked to Mickey, who is in a very good position in terms of what she's pushing. Mickey, though, bit of a bigger target, one that Ava is not super linked to, but basically gets all the benefit with very little of the downside right now. So I'm optimistic of Ava's trajectory. Hopefully next time we rate the players, she is continuing along that trajectory and hasn't sort of slowed down. But I think an 8 makes sense to me.
Yeah, I would agree. I would give her an 8. I'm very impressed with what she's been doing. She's fun to watch. And yeah, I just feel like the fact that people want to work with her, I mean, in this cast especially, like, that's huge. So I feel good about her, and we'll see how it goes from here.
Yes. All right. Next up is Will. Despite the complaints in the chat, this is mostly because it's very annoying to reorder the names on this spreadsheet. And so I keep forgetting to do it because people don't like that Will is here despite the alphabetical order. It's because his name is Cliff. So in the order he is listed here, but I call him Will. I could just say Cliff Will in parentheses, but that would be ridiculous. So eventually I will move him over to the right. I promise. But for now, he is here and we will rate him. Will was given a 3 by the audience, which is the same rating he got last week. It's not a great week for Will. It's, I gotta say, if I'm giving Adrian a 2, I feel like I also have to give Will a 2. I think that he did not put up enough of a fight. I think Adrian put up more of a fight. I think Will is in less danger than Adrian, but he has to some degree cemented his position as a potential pawn moving forward. He is still in some danger this week. And I was so disappointed that he found out he was going on the block. He's in an alliance called The Bond with Lauren. And he did not go and talk to Lauren that night. He waited for her to come to him and said, I already know. Just like, I get it. I know what the frustration is. I feel it for you. But I still need you to fight. I still need you to play. And if you're not going to do that, I'm not going to blame you on a personal level, but I am going to blame you on a Stockwatch rating level. And so he's going to get a 2 from me.
I completely agree. It's a 2 for me as well. Yeah, especially if we're giving Adrian a 2, we have to give Will a 2. I mean, Adrian at least fought. Will, you want to see the fight. And I get that it's like, okay, week after week you're being put up and it sucks, but like you still got to try. And like, there could have been an opportunity for him to be like, no, we're in an alliance. Don't put me up. What are you thinking? And yet nothing. And here he is, he's on the block, and maybe he won't go home. Maybe he will, but I don't even see him necessarily fighting like to stay. Like, I don't really see the campaign of like, I've got to stay. I don't know. It's unfortunate. And I get that it's like, you feel frustrated. You feel like there's no room for you to maneuver, especially if your alliance member puts you on the block. But, people have won the game after being on the block in the first week. So, I feel like we need to see more from him. So that's a 2.
Yeah, I'm also going to go with a 2 for Will. That's my guy. That's my over 50 guy. But like, I don't know if he believes that he can win at this point. I don't know if he believes that he has like a fighting chance. And he's very defeated right now, which I do have empathy for. Like, it does suck, but stand up for yourself. Like, get in there. You have stuff to offer. Like you said, Taran, you're in an alliance with her. You have things to offer. You can push back. People in the house like you. They want to work with you. You're not a house pariah. Just because you're older than some of them doesn't mean that they don't want to work with you. I really want him to step it up and believe in himself, because I believe in him. I really think that he has a lot of skills and knowledge that can aid him. I agree. If we're giving Adrian a 2, we have to give Will a 2. And I think that my 2 for Will is lower than my 2 for Adrian, simply because I think Adrian has the possibility to win a lot more competitions than Will, and will do something with the power. I mean, I do think Will would do something, but I think that you might see like Keanu up, you might see those types of players. So yeah, I'm disappointed, and I hope that he can really turn it around.
All right, let's move on to Jimmy then. Jimmy last week got a 4 overall. I gave him a 3. I thought his HOH was very bad. I think that this week very nearly highlighted just how bad. I think it still highlighted how bad it was to some degree, but he just kind of got away with it a little bit. But it's still not great that he basically pissed off his own alliance. They are not like, nobody in Jimmy's crew is like looking out for Jimmy. Nobody feels close to Jimmy. Nobody feels good about Jimmy on his side. And on the other side, they all want him gone. Like, Kelley wants Jimmy gone. Adrian wants Jimmy gone. Luckily for Jimmy, Keanu is still kind of Keanu, and he's a little bit out there. But he didn't really get much out of that. And the thing that he was supposed to get in exchange was Lauren and Katherine. They were the 2 that were up in his HOH room all week long. He didn't nominate Rylie because he didn't want to, piss anybody off, including Rylie or Katherine or Lauren. And what did he get out of it? Him and Katherine yesterday arguing to Lauren over which person should be nominated because Katherine is not with him on it. He got so little out of it. But I'm not rating his last week. I'm rating his this week. And so I do think that he put in some good work to keep Ashley off the block, which is a pretty good thing for him to have done. And he's still very capable of potentially winning some competitions. I just don't know if he's going to do anything good with them. But with the steady fall of Vince, it does kind of leave more of the game open to a player like Jimmy. So I don't know. We'll see. I will give him a 5.
Wow, 5. I feel like Heisem. Yeah, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I feel like he did some good work, but I think, yeah, I just feel like I don't know where he goes from here. And now that I know what he did with his HOH, I just feel like I just don't have the faith in him that he'll make good strategic moves moving forward. I think for me, I feel like I just want to go up to a 4 at this point. I don't know. I don't know where he's going to go from here. So yeah, I'm giving him a 4, and hopefully that's on the incline. And I hope he does more moving forward.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Melissa with the 4. I do think that Jimmy has proven to play super emotionally, and not just in the way where you are like, he's mad at this person, so he's going to put them up. Like, he played really scared last week. He played really, like, he kind of goes with the way that he feels in the moment rather than being able to look strategically at the game board, which I do think is eventually going to catch up with him. I agree with everything you were saying, Taran, about his positioning and how disastrous last week was for him. And I do think that he has not done enough this week to show that he is, like, to move him up from the 4 to the 5. So I'm going to keep him at a 4 because I do think he's in a lot of danger next week if the wrong person wins.
All right. Well, it was a very close vote, but the audience went with a 5 for Jimmy. So it was a 4.51, just barely rounding up to a 5 there. All right. Next up, Katherine. Melissa, how do you feel about Katherine?
I don't feel great about her. I think, like, my thought initially a few weeks ago was that her and Lauren would make a good duo. It seemed to be setting them up in that way. I was like, that they've got a good position together if they'll work together like that. Especially because it seemed like they both had a good strategic head on their shoulders. But now I feel like not only are they not really working well together, I feel like they're not working well. They're not working together at all. And Lauren would be fine if Katherine goes, and vice versa and everything. I don't feel like Katherine really has anything going for her. She basically, like, rejected the idea of working with the women. So that cuts out like half the house. And then I don't really see her, in a good spot on the other side of the house. So I just don't feel like she's doing all that well at all. The fact that, like, Lauren wasn't turning to her for, like, she didn't have any sort of influence over Lauren this week, which, like, she could have, I would have thought that she would have had. That's not good. So yeah, I just don't really have any faith in her moving forward in the game. Maybe she'll turn it around. I hope she will. But at this point, I mean, she's not on the block, so I guess I'll give her a 3.
Gosh, I don't know. I have been thinking about what we talked about at the top of the pod about how, like, I was like, this never would have happened if Katherine was in power. And you guys were like, and she could have been. Like, she didn't even try. I think I'm going to give her a 4. Because I actually feel like she's in probably the same amount of danger as Jimmy. But she has someone like Rylie who will stick his neck out for her and at least sees her as, like, a number 1. Whereas Jimmy, I don't think, like, anybody really sees him as a number 1. I think that she doesn't understand the game as well as she needs to for the positioning that she's in right now. And yeah, Yeah, I think a 4 is where I'm going to stay with her, because I could see her winning an HOH and doing something good with it, genuinely, and being like, screw it, I'm putting up people I don't like and the people that I'm not working with. But also I could see her getting targeted. So
the audience does agree with Maggie. They gave Katherine a 4. I will tell you, I considered going as low as a 2 for Katherine, because I think that she is nearly equally as guilty as players like Vince and Zach for not getting Ashley on the block. It would have been so good for her game if that had happened, and it is very bad for her game that it didn't. And she tried like negative amounts to make that happen. She was talking to Lauren like, you don't need to put Ashley on. What do you mean? Like, how? That said, Katherine had less opportunity, even though she didn't try much. She wouldn't have had as much opportunity or ability to sway Lauren in the same way that Vince or even Zach could have. And so, I will give her a 3, but it was close to a 2, let me tell you. All right. Next up is Keanu. Maggie, how do you feel about Keanu?
Just terrible. I mean, come on. It's Keanu. In fact, like, Lauren went against her own best interests and her own instincts because she did not want to be associated with Keanu. Like, Keanu is drawing dead in every way possible that you can say it. He's at least, stopped or called a truce with his feud with Rachel. Keanu is he's like poison to your game because he just can't help himself. Like, who would literally, Lauren, like I said, she did the wrong thing for her game because she did not want him to be seen with her, basically. I do think there is a world where, we've talked about someone's target getting so big that, their target just sort of goes away. But Keanu just continues to make it worse for himself. Like, he just can't help himself. I want to also give you credit, Taran, as somebody who is watching the feeds 24/7, and the way that you've been able to sort of like discern the people that Keanu believes and the people that he doesn't believe. I really appreciate that as somebody who can't watch the feeds 24/7 and pick up on those patterns. So I really hate that it seems like he, a woman tells him anything and he is not apt to believe it. I think I'm going to have to go with the 2,
Well, the audience did come close to a 2, but they did end up giving him a 3. And honestly, I was thinking a 3. I even at one point in the week considered as much as a 4 for Keanu. He won the veto and he made peace with Rachel. And that's huge because Rachel has been eyeing Vince pretty heavily. She's pushing a lot of people on to Vince. And if Rachel is saying, we don't need to take out Keanu right now, Vince is the greater threat, that's kind of big for Keanu. It gives him some opportunity because once Vince is gone, who knows where Keanu ends up? He is a team player. And if somebody finally accepts that he is a weapon for them, then that could really work for both him and the person who does so. That can't happen as long as Vince is in the game, though, because Vince has Keanu. And it seemed as though, for a moment, that Keanu was willing to play, at the very least, the middle between them. That is until today, when he told Vince everything that Rachel's been saying about Vince, saying, yeah, she thinks that you're manipulating me and running the house. Crazy, huh? I mean, maybe I'm just an idiot, but I don't trust that. I think you're good with me. And so, from my perspective, if Rachel or somebody close to Rachel does win power, guess who is going to be up in that HOH room saying, Oh my God, Keanu's been talking my ear off about how you've been trying to get him to not trust me this whole time. I don't understand
good
what he's
impression.
doing in the game. And he has so much dirt on him. Will it change things? Will it save Vince? Maybe, maybe not. But at the very least, it'll likely end up with Keanu on the block next to him when he really shouldn't be. And so I just can't trust Keanu to ever do anything that works out for him, and I'm gonna give him a 2.
Yeah. I was leaning towards a 2 or a 3. Now you guys have convinced me it's a 2. Yeah, that's just, it's so frustrating because it's like you think like, oh, maybe he's actually gonna play. Okay, maybe he's actually doing something good. And then it's like, oh nope, never mind. And the whole thing is like, I could absolutely see a situation where, like, in the beginning, you know, he comes off too strong, everyone's against him, and he realizes, like, oh no, like, I've done something wrong here, and everyone's against me, and they want me out of the house. So I'm just gonna like take a step back and kind of just like lie low and be chill for a little bit, and then like eventually, like when they forget about me, I'll you know, reestablish my position in the house. And I just feel like he just cannot do that. And maybe he just doesn't want to do that. I don't know. Maybe he's just too much of a personality that he's like, no, I want to be the center of this game. I can't just like lay back. And I feel like that's going to be his downfall, is like, he's not willing to, you know, take a step back and let other people take the lead for a bit. He wants to be in the center of everything. And it's just, he's just so like, he rubs people the wrong way. People don't want that. And so I don't see a situation where because I think like because of his physique and his like, you know, comp threat stuff, you know, I feel like the only way really he can push forward in the game is either win everything or pretend like take a step back and pretend like he can't win everything and pretend like he's just, you know, here to like assist people and like not a big threat and don't worry about me and I'll get along with all you guys and everything. And then, you know, build up his alliances from there. And he's just not capable of doing that. So yeah, it's a 2 for me.
All right. A 2 for Keanu. Now let's talk about Kelley. Oh, sorry. No, we're talking about Kelley. Not sure why that's playing because the audience gave Kelley. No, they gave Kelley a 2. They gave Kelley a 2. Not a 1. That's the 1 sound. I'm giving Kelley a 1 because she volunteered for the block again, and there's a good chance she goes home. What else is there to say? Nothing, apparently. What do you think, Melissa? She agrees. I think her dogs are agreeing.
Sorry.
Maggie?
Yeah, I agree. It's a 1. She can't keep volunteering for the block.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of said it earlier. Kelley is being on the show and acting the way that she does is like a little insulting to me, who loves this show and like has dedicated a lot of time and effort into learning about it. I think Chelsea said, you know, like online at one point, I have no empathy for these people who know they're going to be on the show and seemingly do little to no research about what's actually going on. Also, she whines all the time about how people are targeting her and she's never even seen the show and it's like so ridiculous. And she whines about how Rachel is like so annoying and bad. And like she just really, like, I just like want her off my TV, if I'm being really honest. And it's the type of thing where I really feel like if she left the house and heard this kind of stuff that we were saying about her, she would be like, oh, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know the show. And it's like, yeah, exactly. You know, that's the way I feel.
So that's a 1.
Mm-hmm. If I could give her a 0, I would, if I'm being honest.
All right. A 1 for Kelley. Which means that Kelley's ratings so far this season have been 1, 2, 1.
Yeesh, that's bad.
Next up is Lauren. Lauren
HOH.
with this HOH. So here's the thing. As I mentioned, it's a bad HOH. Now, is it disastrous in the sense that she is going to be evicted next week? Not likely, in the same way that Vince's wasn't, in the same way that Jimmy's wasn't, in that way. She should be good. None of the people that she angered by putting Adrian on the block are going to target her. In fact, Adrian himself said, I'm still not going to put her on the block. I'm still looking at the other side of the house. I don't care. And she did appease the other side to some degree. Now, does that matter? Not really. But what does matter is there are still enough targets on her side that she shouldn't see the block. She shouldn't see the block. But that doesn't mean that she won't. It should give her some time, some space to rebuild and potentially start working with some of these women, especially given that there is a bit of a rift there. The problem is that what she just demonstrated to us does not give me a lot of faith in her ability to do that work. I did spell out in the stream today, I think there's a world where this does kind of end up working for her. And I'm never the person to say, well, maybe once they lose their closest ally, it'll actually be a good thing for them. Because I don't think that's the case. I think that sometimes you can maybe a little bit take some positives away from a very negative thing. But in the instance of Vince, I do think that Vince does not add anything to anybody's game. I said this in the promo we put out for the live feed updates this season about Tyler. I said Tyler doesn't benefit anybody. He's a parasite. And I think the same thing is true of Vince. I think that you could remove Vince from the game. And the thing is that Tyler did actually at least benefit Casey's game, right? Like he was beneficial to her. Vince is not beneficial to anybody.
It's very Franzel of him, I feel. But Franzel knew what she was doing.
But even Nicole was super loyal to her people. Vince, I don't think, is loyal to anybody. And I appreciate that about Vince. I really do. I kind of admire it because it's pretty rare to see it. But what it does mean is that he's a very, very bad ally. And her spending so much time with him, who's giving her no direction, no feedback, no benefit at all, not talking her up to other people, not keeping her protected, not anything for her. If this was such a bad move for Vince this week for her to not put Ashley up, that if he left next week, I think it would benefit Lauren's game because she would be forced to find a new number one that could actually help her make these decisions and guide her and give her the courage and strength to become an actual player in the game. And so, there's a world, but that world is pretty far away. And for those reasons, I am going to give her a 3.
Yeah, agreed. She's a 3 for me as well. This is not a good HOH for her. Like the whole thing about like, oh, I'm not going to talk with people tonight. I want a night off or something like that. You can't do that. I mean, she clearly was not prepared to be HOH. She did not know what she was getting herself into. And yet, like, she didn't need to win it. And she did anyway. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're in a much better position if you don't win it. But then if you do win it, you have to do something with it. You can't just kind of make scared moves and just like half-heartedly be HOH. Like at least put something together. The house doesn't have like set alliances at this point. And she could have been the HOH to form them. Like this could have been a really good week for her. And yet it wasn't. And, you know, we sit there and we say, well, you know, her allies didn't help her out, which is true. But she should have her own mind. She should be able to make the decision. If the allies aren't helping her, then she needs to just figure it out and do it herself instead of this like
rally them
back and
lead
forth
them.
thing. Yeah, exactly. And it's like it was not a good HOH. And the results is not good either. So it's not like, well, at least she came to a good result. Like it's not. And I don't know where she goes from here. I don't think she set herself up well for next week. So yeah, it's not good.
She needs a message on the wall saying unite them. That's a Stormlight Archive reference. All right. Maggie.
I'm sure that's a
Oh,
reference.
that? Oh, Taran, that. Of course. Everybody knows that one, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going to give Lauren a 3. I think, like I said earlier, I think she's very young. I think that she is really nervous to put herself out there. I think she does have instincts. I'm going to be honest. If I was in the house, and Vince was like being spoken about targeting, I would be circling her like a shark because it's obvious she can win stuff. She has no clue what she's doing. She has no clue who to trust. And I could be that person for her. You know, I feel like she's the easiest person in this house to manipulate. And for whatever reason, she chose people who refuse to manipulate. She's basically like begging them to manipulate her into doing what they want. And so I think Lauren is a piece that, like, this is not a good week for her. But if I was in the house as like a savvy player, I would not forget this. And if I see that she's starting to get separated, I would start working on her. And I think that she's a piece, she could be a really valuable piece for someone like Mickey, who might lose a Morgan, someone like Rachel, if she can, you know, figure out her way in there, even somebody like Ava, but I'm not sure that Ava will know what to do with her. But I do think like she's somebody who I would be like, you and me, girl, let's go. Let's ride it out to the end here. And I would MJ the crap out of her, you know, like she's got big MJ upside.
Yeah, I don't think you can go all the way to the end with her like Chelsea could with MJ, because she does still know the show, but you could go very far, I think, and I completely agree that people should be circling around like sharks. The audience also gave Lauren a 3, so it's going to be 3s all around for Lauren. Melissa, what do you think about Mickey? Because we've dropped the average back down to 4 again, and we need to start getting some higher numbers.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, you know, last time the end game or the end of the ratings were a lot higher, so hopefully that's the case here as well. Gosh, I don't know about Mickey. I can't tell whether she's having a better, a same week or worse week or better week. I don't really know. I think that it might be worse. But at the same time, she's kind of getting what she wants this week. I think the problem is that people are starting to catch on. And so that makes me nervous for future weeks. Like this week right now she's doing all right, but in future weeks, I don't know. I do feel like she's really good when she's in conversation with people. Like, I feel like I would be convinced by the stuff that she says. So, sorry, my dogs are running around in the background. They're play fighting, which is very great. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of tempted to lower it a little bit. But I think she's one of the stronger players in the house. And even if she's put in a bad position next week, I do feel like she could probably get herself out of it. I think I'll go with the 7, but I'm willing to be convinced to have a different rating.
Okay. A 7 for Mickey from Melissa. I don't know if I agree, because I do think that she's in like kind of immediate danger. Her name is on a lot of people's lips right now. Like people like Rylie, people like Keanu, people like even Adrian. I feel like if they were to win, they may go after her, put up people like her and Morgan. I do think it's so good for her that Ashley, like that the war was not declared this week. And I do think that she had a lot to do with that. I also do have a lot of faith in her. If I'm being honest, I think she's far and away, like next to Rachel, like out of the new players in the house, far and away has the best strategic mind, the best strategic acumen. She's really good socially. She's not afraid to push for what she wants. It seems as though her and like Morgan are having some vague falling out also, which is, I don't know if that's like great for her. My instinct is to go down to a 6, because I do feel like she's in kind of danger this week, this upcoming week. But I have so much faith in her that I feel like even if she was in danger, she could figure out a way out of it. Also, she has this power that is useless because everybody knows about it, even Keanu. I think I'm going to have to say 6, but I don't want to. And I hope that the audience or Taran can convince me by the end of this to maybe move her back up to a 7. But I think like I do have to give her a 6.
Well, the audience is going to have a hard time convincing you of that because they also gave Mickey a 6.
Yeah.
I, though, do agree with Melissa. I'm going to give Mickey a 7. Reason being, I do see it. I think that a 6 is fair for her position. And that's because, quite frankly, like Ashley herself, she kind of survived this week by the skin of her teeth. Because if Ashley had gone up on the block, Zach was saying, basically, Mickey's my new target. However, Ashley not going on the block means that Zach has some other people he still needs to deal with, like Ashley herself, and might not have the wherewithal to go ahead and stick with that plan moving forward. So we'll see what kind of danger she remains in. Her power is seemingly useless at this point. Doesn't mean it won't work. I've played Blood on the Clock Tower when you are convinced that you know who the demon is, and then at the last moment, all game long, you've thought it's definitely Maggie, and then at the last moment, Melissa's like, I don't know, I think it's also Maggie, and you're like, but you are a demon too, Melissa. Are you the demon? And so it could always flip around, but she did some great work making sure that Ashley didn't go up on the block. I want to reward her for that. So it's a bit of a bonus point for me.
That's the thing. It's positioning. I usually think I rate more based on positioning than I do skill because I try to look at like the field in general. But I do really have faith in her. I am going to keep it a 6. I don't think I'm going to bump it up. And it does feel crazy that Ashley's a 5 and Mickey's a 6. But I do think I have to leave it there just because of how many people are talking about her and how many people see that she's a problem.
Also,
it's week 3. It's week 3 and they're talking about her being a huge strategic threat.
I'll make this claim too. I actually feel like Morgan has made fewer strategic errors than Mickey has. I think that Morgan is much worse socially.
Yes.
But she tends to have her head in the right direction. She just kind of plows into that direction constantly at full force. Whereas Mickey kind of understands a bit more subtlety. But Mickey has occasionally veered off into some bad directions, like telling Adrian all of that information. So, we'll kind of see where all of that goes. Speaking of which, let's talk about Morgan. Maggie, how are you feeling about Morgan?
I'm really, really not feeling good about Morgan. I'm really not. This stinks. Like you said, socially, she's just really not doing great. I have to say, like, seeing that clip of all of her like supposed best friends in the house laughing with the guy she has a crush on about how she has a crush on him was like just horrible. I was like, this is something like, this is like my deepest fear. Like that my like best friends would like make fun of me for liking someone with the person that I like. Like
that's so sad.
Really, really, really sad. And I felt horrible for her, if I'm being honest. The Zach of it all has her head kind of spinning. I think that she's very sensitive, and I want to make it clear that that is because of the way that she's reacted to people brushing up against her, even strategically in the game. Like, I remember week 1, Keanu called her a snake, and she basically talked about it for the next 18 hours and cried about it. Like, I think that she feels things very deeply, and that makes people feel a little nervous around her, and like they kind of have to walk on eggshells sometimes because, like Taran said, she'll kind of plow into the way that she's feeling. And I think she's become like Mickey feels like she has to manage Morgan a lot. I agree with you, Taran, that strategically she's more sound because, I mean, she's a gamer. She knows, like, when she looks at the board, she knows where pieces need to go. Gamer girl. She just is really, like, she's also out of everybody on the girls' side. It's like Ashley being targeted and then Morgan right behind her. And I do think if Ashley and Morgan were next to each other, people would take out Morgan because they can see that she's more strategically savvy. People like Rylie really hate her. I think that if I gave Mickey a 6 and Ashley a 5, that means I have to give Morgan also a 5. And yeah, that's my thought right now.
Wow, that changed the whole board of colors.
Oh no.
Well, the audience is a little bit higher on Morgan. They gave her a 6. They gave her a 6. And I am with the audience on this one. I also gave Morgan a 6. There are plenty of downsides. She is a target for a few people. She is not in as good with her allies as she thinks she is, really on both ends. However, she does have the added benefit of, one, her primary side, the women, winning the round this week, which she was a part of. 2, having one of the stronger connections with the other side, despite them being a little wary. Zach is more concerned about Mickey than he is Morgan. And
I wonder why.
as is Vince. Vince is not concerned about really either one to any considerable degree, and he doesn't really hold opinions generally. But if Vince had to decide, I think, between Mickey or Morgan, he would choose to protect Morgan over Mickey. Not again that means that much.
Taran is Vince's biggest op.
I don't even like. Sometimes that's a negative, like this week. But there are other times when I'm impressed by it, genuinely. It's just genuinely worth noting.
No, I know. It's so good. You stay on Vince's neck.
Don't really matter.
Stay on Vince's neck.
If Vince's opinions mattered, Ashley would be on the block right now. You know what I mean?
So, yes, I do. I do.
So that's not great, but like the women aren't, I don't think, going to be targeting Morgan anytime soon. And I think the other side of the house would put her up, but they would maybe be looking in another direction. Now, would that be bad? Yes, because then the women who might control the vote might choose to evict her over somebody else. But hey, as long as that blockbuster is a wall comp, they're going to have to peel her off of that thing. So anyway.
Okay.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys are saying. It's unfortunate because I do think that she could do really good things in this game, and I feel like she has a head for gaming. But yeah, the social stuff is just, if it's not there, it's not there, and it's really hard to get people to click with you in that way. And like you said, it's like the emotionality of it. Yes, of course, like I totally get it. If somebody says something about you, it's like you feel a certain way and you're totally allowed to feel that way, but it's a game and you need to just like keep moving forward, and people are going to be saying a lot of things about you in the game and you need to just like forget about it. And, you know, I totally get where she's coming from with this like Zach situation. It sucks to know that the person that you like doesn't like you back. Like, it really sucks to find that out, and not only find that out, but also to see that he likes someone else in the house with you, and you have to sit there and like see it. I get it.
And your friends are like making fun of it, and like
right, exactly. Your friends are making fun of it.
Horrible.
Like, and it's one of those things where it's like you can't really just be like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna like turn that off. Like, it's really hard. I mean, we're sitting here like, get over it. Come on, you got to get back in the game, get your head in the game. But it's like, it's really hard. And I could see why she would want to like talk with people about it and express herself and all that sort of stuff. But it's like, it's just not good for the game. And it's like, as much as I can sit here and say like, oh, I get it, I relate to it, it's not something that will help her in the game. And she needs to get over it and just like put it out of her mind, be like, Zach, no, we're cool, we're friends, the end. Like, there's nothing, you like someone else, not a big deal. Like, let's just pretend like nothing ever happened. And like, that's what she needs to do. Yeah. So for me, I was a 7 last week, down to a 6 this week.
All right. Let's move on then to Rachel Rylie, who was given a 6 by the audience. A 6 for Rachel. I gotta say, I feel pretty good about Rachel. I've given her a 6 two times in a row. I think this was her best week. I think that she has rebounded really well. It was going to be looking pretty bad, but I think that Rachel's position rebounds more than almost anybody with Ashley not going up on the block, because with her connection to Ava now and her reconnection to Keanu, she's actually looking pretty decent. Like Keanu and anybody that Keanu has any amount of influence over, meaning like Rylie, like might not actually put Rachel on the block. You'd be concerned about Vince, but we've already seen what happens with Vince and his allies having HOH. He's probably not going to be pushing Rachel. He's going to be like, excuse me, I never said Rachel's name. And so she's actually kind of good, it seems. Like there are very few people that would probably even put her up on the block next week. You always have to be concerned, but she's looking pretty good. And if her side wins, she's looking even better. And with more heat going on to Mickey and Morgan, that means less heat on Rachel Rylie. And she played this week well. She got a lot of people looking at Vince, who is her biggest competition, is her biggest threat right now. And Vince kind of laid down and took it. And so she neutralized Keanu. She won the day with Ashley. It's a good week. I'm giving her a 7.
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. It's been a good week for Rachel, especially with this Ashley, the not thing. The fact that Ashley's staying is super good for Rachel. And I don't really see a situation where people, I don't really feel like people, as much as they said in the beginning, they were like, oh, Rachel, a huge threat, blah, blah, blah. I don't think people are thinking that much anymore. It's not like she's super secure in the house and like a Paul situation and leading a big alliance or anything like that. She's not doing super well in the competitions. And she's like specifically making a point to say that to people and saying like, I thought, I used to be really good at these competitions and now I'm not. I'm sure that was all very genuine and she felt that way. But at the same time, like if I'm in the house and I'm hearing that, I'm like, okay, so she can't compete as well as she used to. Like she knows she can't. It's not just like a front, I would believe her and I'd be like, it's not really that scary to keep her around. I think, I think she's doing a good job in kind of moving the target off of her. And now that Amy's not there, I think that, there's no duo or anything with her. So I feel pretty good about her position. And I think I want to give her a 7 as well.
I feel great about Rachel. I'm loving what she's doing. She is playing really strategically sound. Like you said, Taran, I think that her biggest win of this week is getting so many people looking at Vince because he is a huge problem for her and would absolutely be down the line. And I all hail Rachel Rylie. I'm giving her a 7.
All right. Okay, let's move on then and talk about Rylie, who had straight 4s last week. On one hand, I don't want to give him a 4 because that's a bit higher than a lot of other people on the cast. On the other hand, what is the reason to do anything different? He has not changed. It's the same old Rylie. The thing is, for better or worse, Rylie is in a better position than Katherine. He is working with the guys. He's not being targeted by anybody. And Katherine would be voted out over him. He is on vacation. But I still kind of want to give him a 3 for vibes alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel.
I do.
How I feel.
Like,
and guess what? I get to decide because it's my rating.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what he's doing. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. I like wish I had more to share about Rylie, but I really don't. I think he could stick around, but it's like, well, what then? Like, I don't really see him winning the game. I mean, it's possible that like he's doing that sleep technique and then you come guns blazing at the end or something. I don't know. And maybe that's the case, but in this situation, yeah, I don't know. And so for me, if I gave Jimmy a 4, like Jimmy's at least doing stuff. So I'm going to have to give Rylie a 3.
Yeah, I'm also like, how does Rylie get the privilege of being on vacation here? Like, why is he the one in the house that's afforded being on vacation? Like, what the heck is that? I'm giving him a 3 too.
All right. The audience also gave Rylie a 3. So straight 3s for Rylie. Melissa, how are you feeling about Vince?
No, I want Taran to be the first one for this one, but it's just because I feel like you have such strong feelings about him. Honestly, like, I think he did. It's one of those things where it's like, I was feeling really good about him this week, shockingly, because I just felt like I was like, okay, I don't get it personally, but it seems like he has a ton of sway with people. It seems like everybody's like interested in hearing his opinion. I thought after his HOH, it would be terrible. I thought that there was no chance for him in the game after he nominated Kelley. And then he was like kind of paired up with Kelley and Keanu. And I was like, oh God, this is not going to go well for him. But it seems like, I mean, first of all, I was shocked that Lauren was like, oh, he's my number one ally. Cause I thought for sure it'd be Zach or Katherine. And apparently I had no idea what was going on. And it seems like everybody is really, he's aligned with everybody in the house. Like everyone's been comparing him to Tyler. It's very similar to that where he is like final 2s with everybody. And for Tyler, that worked out really well for a while. But at the same time, like the result this week is just so not good for him. I mean, it makes it clear that like he did not get what he wanted.
When Tyler spent all of his time up in Caitlin's HOH room, it's because he got her to target Swaggy.
Right. It's not just like for nothing. It's not just, oh, I just spent a lot of time there, but like for what? And then it makes him look bad because it makes him look like, oh, okay, he's the one who wanted this move, I guess, because he was controlling her HOH and he's been with her this whole time. So it's not good. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like this particular week is not great for him, but I do feel like he still has power in the house. But we are rating on like a week-to-week basis. So like I obviously have to go down in my rating from a 6 because like this is not a good result for him. But I don't think he's like down and out or anything. I honestly feel pretty good about him moving forward. I don't feel like he's going to get so much blame no matter who goes home. It really, I don't feel like it matters that much. I think it's either a 4 or 5 because I'm looking like to the future. Can I say it's between a 4 or 5 and then you guys go ahead?
Sure.
And then I'll make my final choice.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I might make some people mad with my rating here because when I was on the update last time I was on, we were talking about how Vince mirrors. And I do think Vince's closest comparison is somebody like Enzo, genuinely mirroring that energy. Everybody likes him. Everybody likes working with him. He makes them feel good. However, Enzo did push. Like Enzo would mirror, but also hype. Like Enzo was the hype man. So he would have caught that Lauren wanted Ashley and then hyped her up to be able to make the move. Vince.
And he would have pulled the group together.
Yeah.
Vince exclusively mirrors. Exclusively. And I actually think that the reason that Vince was so timid and not doing anything and not pushing Lauren is because she is the type of player who is so unsure. I think Vince has the social skills to play Big Brother and is really good one-on-one, but does not have the strategic acumen to play Big Brother. I it's really, really frustrating to watch him because you're like, this person could be a good player and they are not a good player. Like they aren't. They're really good in some areas, but the things that you actually need to play Big Brother, he doesn't have. Like he just doesn't have it, in my opinion. And he's proven from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 that like he doesn't have it. He has the likability. He has like, he's in all of the rooms, but he does not have that killer instinct or whatever that instinct is that makes you actually good at Big Brother. And he's in a horrible position moving forward. I think he's the number 1 target for a lot of the house. I think that he's almost guaranteed to go up unless like Keanu or Rylie or Zach win. Like for real. And maybe Katherine wouldn't put him up, but I also feel like if people pushed hard enough, like she could maybe be talked into something like that. Adrian's pissed at him. Like,
look at you already counting the Cal heads out.
Oh my gosh, sorry. Like I just like I really have no faith in him moving forward. I don't. I think that he's shown me in 3 weeks that he can't do anything with even the parts of Big Brother that he's good at. The parts that he's not good at are so damning that he cannot do anything with the stuff that he's good at. I'm sorry, everybody. He did not get out his main target. He put a huge target on his back. He was incredibly obvious with how close he was with Lauren. He's the number 1 target for 90% of the house going into next week. Maybe not 90, maybe more like 75%. He should not be on anybody's radar. And this is all his own doing. He was the one who suggested his number 1 ally in Kelley go up over the number 1 target that should have gone out. I'm so sorry, everybody. Please don't be mad at me. I'm giving him a 2.
2 for Vince from Maggie. Well, the audience did give him a 4.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. I'm gonna be the mean one.
Listen, Maggie. There were moments this week when I thought about Cirie whomping. And so I have also considered the 2. I am deeply there with you. I am also considering the 3, primarily because there is still a chance they still like declare war and they take out Will this week and they keep both Adrian and and Kelley.
No, I'm so sorry. I don't agree with you there because Vince is in charge of that. Vince is in charge of that. Who's going to declare war? Vince?
He's going to... Well, here's the thing. Even if he does, he's already kind of lost Adrian. Which was so unnecessary. And that's the main thing, is that like it's possible that once again the worst outcome doesn't happen for Vince and Kelley does manage to stay and maybe even Adrian manages to stay. But even if all of those things happen, he has still done so much damage to his own game for no reason and no benefit. Which is the wild part of all of this. He shouldn't be the target right now. He should be getting out an enemy right now. Yeah. And he shouldn't be connected to any of it. He should have at the very least, let Lauren put Ashley up on the block initially. He should have let Katherine be more influential on Lauren instead of pushing Katherine away so that Katherine took the heat for pushing that. If Ashley had gone up on the block initially for Lauren, it would have been better because that would have been looked at as a pawn, not a target. And then if Keanu wins the veto, she could become the target and not go up on the block as one. And it wouldn't have been seen as declaring war in the first place. But he didn't push hard enough in the first place, barely at all. And he didn't push hard enough the second time either. And he's just, it's
Taran, he didn't even not push hard enough. He pushed away.
Yeah. He did. He probably pushed away more than he pushed. He would disagree with you. He would say that he pushed Ashley. And he is a little bit right. But the problem is he also pushed, as you're mentioning, Will. He also pushed Adrian. Like, that's the problem. And it's like, I think we're able to be so critical of Vince because he has so much to lose. And he's constantly throwing his stuff away. Like, he's just constantly burning away all of the capital that he gains from all of his hard work, mirroring people and getting in with people.
Like the other two that we all rated, Keanu. 4 steps forward, 10 steps back. It's like
if Vince is chucking away his 401k, Keanu is chucking away his his
trust fund,
his quarters.
Sure.
But yes, ultimately I have to agree and give Vince a 2 here.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, my one thing is that I am very impressed with his social game. Like, I do feel like, and I think you're absolutely right, the mirroring thing. It's like, it makes total sense that, like, he's just giving back what that person's putting out. And people like that. People like, that bonds you to them. It makes you feel like this guy gets me. And so I think, like, even though he is in a precarious spot after this week, I do feel like whoever wins HOH will just go sit in the room with them and like do the mirroring thing. And then they'll be like, oh, okay, actually, he's a pretty cool guy. I should work with him or whatever. I mean, I don't believe that he has the strategy. I think you're right. I think like, it's like, I haven't seen at least him have good strategy at this point. So I don't feel like I have any sort of faith that like, yeah, but he's going to get it. But I do think the social aspect can't be ignored. And I think like in regards to the Keanu versus Vince thing, like I do think that they're pretty incomparable because
go
ahead.
I just want to push back on the social thing. Yes to all of that. However, he now has a number 1 op in the house, and her name is Rachel Rylie. And when Rachel Rylie gets a bug in her butt, there's nothing that you can do about it. Like she will never.
That's true.
You want to talk about standing on Vince's neck? It's not Taran. It's going to be Rachel.
That's true.
Maggie,
you literally from the rooftops.
You literally took those words out of my mouth. I was going to say that when Melissa finished.
That's funny. Maggie's like, I'm not letting Taran have this.
No.
We'll say it before Melissa's finished.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, no, I mean, look, here's the thing. From my perspective, I think I want to give him, I'm obviously not going to like keep him at a 6. It's not happening. Like, because he had a bad week, but I'll give him, I'll go with the audience and give him a 4. And then we'll see where he goes from here.
Oh, that changes a 4 to the average rating again. Look at that. Okay. That leaves us with Zach. Maggie, how are you feeling about Zach?
So I've been really impressed with Zach all season, if I'm being honest. I like put on Blue Sky. Zach is really good at Big Brother. I think he is. I think that he is inexperienced with Big Brother, but I think he has a ton of really natural instincts. I think that Zach is somebody like Ava, where paired up with the right person, he's so incredibly dangerous. So dangerous. However, this loss of putting Ashley up this week is really not good for him. It's really, really not good for him. This is specifically, I feel like if Ashley is up this week, this is kind of crushing for Zach. Like that positioning is very crushing. I probably would have brought Zach up to like a 9 maybe this week. But I think that this really lowers him in my eyes and makes him not, he's not in as crushing a position. I do think that Zach is just so good socially. I think he doesn't push enough, and I don't think he realizes he has to, which makes me nervous for him. I think he has all the tools and the strategic acumen, but doesn't really know where to aim or how hard to go. But he is always gaming. And I like that. I think I'm going to give Zach a 7 for I actually see, this is the thing. Like, I don't want to give him the same rating as Mickey because I do feel like Mickey is in like a decent amount of danger next week, like of going on the block. And I don't think Zach is. However, I have more faith in Mickey right now, I think, than I do Zach. If Adrian goes this week, that is a huge loss for him. And also, I think Vince being targeted is quite bad for him because if Vince goes, Zach is next on the Rachel Rylie chopping block. You can basically pencil him in as the next person that she's going to be rah-rahing the house around. So I do think I have to give him a 6 because he could have pushed to get Ashley up. And I do have to punish him for that. So I'm going to give him a 6.
All
oh,
right.
and he has the power. He has the power.
He does have the power. The audience agrees with you. They gave Zach a 6. Yeah, Zach's a tricky one. His position is fine short term. In fact, it's pretty good short term. It's fine long term.
Yeah.
He does take a loss here, and I'm definitely penalizing him in the score because of it. I mean, it's not as bad as Vince because he didn't have as much sway as Vince did. It's not as bad as Vince because he's also not tanking his game, doing nothing in the process. Nobody blames Zach for getting in Lauren's ear. Nobody blames Zach for spending too much time with Lauren. Zach is not accumulating a target on his back because of anything he's doing this week. He's not accumulating a target on his back really at all. He maintains his position as somebody that Keanu trusts, somebody that Rylie trusts, somebody that Adrian trusts. And that's a really powerful base to have in terms of like, Katherine is kind of there. Morgan still trusts him far too much. Vince is still with him for what that's worth. Lauren is still with him for what that's worth. He has a lot of power there. He didn't use it properly this week, and he is taking a loss for it. I don't think it's crushing to his position, but I am so far seeing a lack of urgency in Zach's gameplay that really needs to kick up. It's not Vince level, but and maybe in some part it's sort of influenced by being so close to Vince. But he really needs to start fighting for his people harder in spots where he can make them stay. And one of those options is potentially, getting Will out over Kelley or Adrian. I think that it's worth it for him to vote Will out over Adrian. I don't think it's worth it for him to do the same for Kelley. I don't think Kelley is valuable enough to his game to ruin those relationships. But that makes for a very tricky campaign because the votes that are there to evict Will against Adrian would also be there to evict Will over Kelley and would want to do so, many of them. And so it's going to be, I think, a tricky thing to navigate to try to do one but not the other, which I do think is part of what he should be trying to do. He does still have the power. He has some great relationships. I think he has plenty of runway. I said from week 1, pencil him into jury. I still think that's true. But this was not a good week for Zach. And for that reason, I considered.
We're so
Sorry. I'm giving a 5. He should have pushed harder. What do you think, Melissa?
Yeah. I think I've got to give him a 6. I think like he still has good relationships with people, but I was shocked that he wasn't able to get Lauren to do what he wanted. I mean, they're like in their little flirt mats or whatever they're doing, and like that should be an easy in. That should be a simple, especially if she's, waffling or confused or doesn't know what to do and is unsure. Like that's the exact opportunity where you go in and you say, okay, this is what you should do. Like, I'll back you up. And he didn't. And, same with Vince. It's like, I'm surprised that none of them tried to exert their influence on someone who was basically begging for it. So I just feel like They should have pushed harder to get the result that they wanted. And it's just unfortunate that he didn't. However, I think he's still in a good spot because so many people like him, the social game, etc. So we'll see. I mean, plus the power. I mean, we keep saying that. It's like, oh yeah, and he has the power. Yeah, and he has the power. So he's pretty safe for a little. So, he can probably turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, it's a missed opportunity penalty for me, because if he had pushed harder and Ashley was on the block right now, as Maggie said, like, his rating would have skyrocketed. I mean, he would be in such a crushing position, and all he needed to do was like grasp it, and he didn't. And it's just like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So that's why. All right, that is the Stockwatch for the week.
Pretty low
rating.
ratings.
It is quite red. It is quite red, but hey, 5 is still the average rating here. We still made it there. So
okay. All right.
I also think I was a little tougher on everybody, I think, than maybe you guys were as the guest. I went a little harder, maybe. But
I mean, maybe it's deserved. So I think you're fine.
All right. Well, you can, of course, check back into realitystockwatch.com. The ratings will be updated at some point, not necessarily immediately, but then you can see. And I apologize. There are some glitches and such. I've tried to give the warning that there are likely going to be some glitches, especially at the top of the leaderboard. But just sort of like look at who's actually got realistic money, if you can. And so check that out when it happens. And that's about it. Anything else to bring up before we wrap this up here?
I really want an HOH that is fun and exciting and makes moves. And, I want real gameplay here. I'm just like, this scared thing is just kind of boring to me. So I want the season to pick up.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that is what we have for you then today. I will be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to update you on everything that happened today on the Big Brother 27 live feeds. Definitely got to give a bit of an update on where things stand and will stand moving forward. So tune in for that. Of course, the slop is going to be tomorrow as well, with Quinn stepping in for Rob. So check out the slop if you are a patron of Rob Has a Podcast. And check out my book, Behind the Mirror. I just actually turned in the final version of it again this time, fairly recently. So it is on the way. You go to taranarmstrong.com. You can pre-order a copy. Pre-orders are greatly appreciated. Of course, you can find Melissa at It's Melissa with 3 A's, and check out Maggie's video. Yes.
Commiserate with me about how embarrassing it is to be a Big Brother fan, and about how this show is our favorite show on TV. And yet really sometimes to try to explain it to people, it's just tough,
Yes. All right. Well, that is what I have for you all today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see all of you next time.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.